हेलो भाई और उनके बहनों, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल. So this is the continuation video. In the last video we have talked about the Indian Road Congress Special Publication 23, which talks about the vertical curves for the highways. In that video what we have seen is gradient must be finalized prior the design of vertical curves, and next we have seen that what are the gradients, what are the types of gradient, and according to the terrain classification, so what are the ruling, limiting and the exceptional gradient. Yeah, next we have seen the design speed. So while designing the vertical curves, the design speeds are very important, and for the different classes of road there are the different design speeds. In the next part, that is in the fourth point, we have seen the purpose of vertical curve. So why there is need to provide a vertical curve. So basically, in short, we can say that the vertical curves are necessary for providing the safety and the comfort to the vehicle users. So these were the 4 points that we have completed in the last video. Let's go to the fifth point, which talks about the summit curves. So what is a summit curve? A curve with convexity upward. So here, as you can see in the figure, so this one will be the summit curve. Similarly, this one will be the summit curve. So in figure, the first figure shows the ascending grade meeting the descending grade. That means this is the ascending grade and this is the descending grade. So if we have ascending grade meeting the descending grade, then it will form a summit curve. Similarly, in second figure, it shows the ascending grade meeting the another ascending grade. So this is the ascending grade and this is the another ascending grade, but the gradient of these both are different. So here positive sign is there n1, and here the negative sign is there for the n2 because it is descending. So let's move ahead. The dynamics of the movement over an ordinary summit curve is of little consequence. So what they want to say is, so here they have mentioned the dynamics of the summit curve. The first one is the centrifugal force generated by the movement of the vehicle along the curve acts practically in the opposition to the force of gravity and is beneficial insofar as it relieves the pressure on tire and the springs of vehicle. So what this point says is that if suppose this is the two gradient and this is the vertical curve, okay, and when a vehicle travels along the vertical curve, then if suppose this is a vehicle, so the pressure on the tire is released because here this is the direction of vehicle, the centrifugal force acts away from the ground and the gravity acts towards the earth. So the net pressure on this tire get reduced, and this is kind of advantageous thing to our vehicle. And the secondly they have mentioned is vertical deviation angle on the roads are so small because the summit curves prescribed by the side distance are so long and easy that the shock is automatically rendered imperceptible to the travelers. So what this point says is that the angle of deviation, here you can see this is called as the angle of deviation. We have already seen in the earlier video what is angle of deviation. So this angle of deviation is generally kept small, and since the angle of deviation is kept small for the summit curves, then the curve will be long and easy. So more the curve is long, so it will be more comfortable for a traveler to ride over that curve. So this was the 2 point that this paragraph says. So now moving towards the next point, 5.3. It it therefore follows that on summit curve the transition are not essential and simple circular arcs are the good enough. What this point says that there is no need for the transition curve for the summit curve design. The circular arcs are sufficient. And in this paragraph they have also mentioned one disadvantage regarding the transition curve. So basically what are the transition curve? So the transition curves are the curves where their initial radius is infinity, and across the curve the radius decreases. So this is the specialty about the transition curve. Generally we provide the transition curve for making the horizontal curve, but in this case, in case of summit curve, there is no need of transition curve. So why they are saying like that? Because if suppose we have given the transition curve at the summit curve, so initially the radius will be infinity and later the radius decreases towards the apex. And since the radius decreases towards apex, then there might be possibility that we will be getting a sharp peak at the summit, and if we have the sharp peak, then definitely it will be bad with consideration to the design for the safe side distance. So this is why they are saying that the circular arc is more beneficial in case of summit curves. So this was all about point 5.3. In next 5.4, they have mentioned that in actual practice, a simple parabolic curve is used instead of circular curve. So why they are saying that? So there are two reasons. The first one, a simple parabola is nearly congruent to the arc. Okay. And the second is the parabola is very easy for the arithmetical manipulation for the computing ordinates. So what this first point says, that if suppose this is a circular curve and if we try to draw a parabolic curve along the same 2 points, then this parabolic curve is also nearly congruent to the circular curve. So we are using the parabolic curve instead of circular curve. And what this second point says is that it is very easy for the arithmetical manipulation. So in detail we will see why they have mentioned this point in the further part of this video. Okay, so let's move to the 5.5, which talks about the formula of summit curve, how we are going to find these ordinates mentioned in the previous point, and the length of curve, the side distance, the length of curve according to the various side distance, according to the various classes of road. So all those things we will see in this video. So what are the formulas this code have suggested? So we will see them one by one. So the equation 1 talks about the general equation of parabola where a is an constant. Next, in this figure you can see that this is the curve, summit curve, this is the n1 and this is the n2, and this whole thing is n. This was already discussed in the previous video. If you have missed, please before watching this video have a look to that video, so that everything that I will be explaining further will be very clear to you and you can understand each and everything in this calculative part. So here some calculations have been made, so we will directly jump to the final answer. So these all calculations were done to find the constant that was present in the equation 1. So here you can see that this is the constant I have already shown. So the value of that constant is a equals to 2l by n. So this l is the side distance and this n is the deviation angle. So what will be the final equation of our curve? Y equals to x square by, this was upon a, so l, so the value of a equals to 2l upon n. So this is the final equation of our summit curve. So on what factors our summit curve will depend? So one is the n, that is the deviation angle, and another is the length. So let's move ahead. So here in 5.6 they are talked about the radius of curvature of summit curve. So this is the formula generally given for the radius of curvature, which is the double differentiation of the equation. So the inverse of radius of curvature is equals to the double differentiation. When we double differentiate the equation of parabola, then we can equate this with the 1 by r, and what we get is r equals to a by 2, and here the value of a was 2l by n. So here we get the value of r, that is the radius of curvature. I hope till now everything is clear to you. This is the calculation part, so there is nothing much to discuss. So let's move ahead. 5.7. Here they are talked that the formula of length of summit curve. So here they have mentioned the length of summit curve depends on, first is the deviation angle and another is the required side distance. So this side distance can be anything, overtaking side distance or intermediate side distance or minimum side distance, which is equal to safe stopping side distance. So all these three side distance have been explained by me in IRC 66 in much detail. So I request you to go through the IRC 66 prior to watching this video, so that all the types of side distances will be clear to you, and the link is given above. In the next point, they have said that the gradients on the both sides of intersections are selected on the principles already discussed in para 2.5. So in the last video, we have discussed about the 2.5. So in that paragraph, they have said that how the gradients of the verticals should be decided. So they have given the two factors. First one is the economy and second one is the comfort. So with the balance of these both the things, we have to design the curve. The deviation angle and the changes of point of intersection, the gradient can be measured and recorded. So with the help of the gradient, once the gradients are fixed, so we can decide the changes of this point, changes of this point and changes of this point. So I hope till now all the things are clear to you. So let's move ahead. So let's move to the next point, 5.7.3, which says that for calculating the length of curve, two cases have to be considered. These two cases are regarding this L value. Okay, so the first case talks about the overtaking side distances. What are the value of L that we want to use? So in this case, we will be using L as OSD. What is OSD? Overtaking side distance. Yeah, this is also very well explained in IRC 66 video. So I ask you to please watch that video. So here the case 1, when the length of curve exceeds the required side distance, that is L greater than S. So as you can see in the figure, this is the height of our vehicle and this is the height of object, or we can say the height of another vehicle. So for the overtaking distance in IRC 66, they have mentioned the criteria that the height of driver as well as the height of object or the another driver both should be considered as 1.2 meters. So by using this criteria, the line of overtaking is mentioned and is shown by the green line. So this is the overtaking side distance. And the length of curve, what is the length of curve? This is basically the length of curve, but since our assumption was that this n value is very small, so this length of curve is approximately equals to the horizontal length. So for this case, how we will be calculating this L value? So here they have given the formula. After the several calculations, at last they come to this formula where L equals to n into s square by 9.6. So this is the general formula that they have got, and in this formula, as I already said that the value of h is 1.2 meter mentioned in IRC 66. So the curve length comes out to be n into s square by 9.6, where s is the overtaking side distance. So the value of this overtaking side distance is also mentioned in IRC 66. And in second case, the length of curve is less than the required side distance, that is L less than S. So here in the first case, they have said that L is greater than S, and in second case we have L is less than S. Okay, so here you can see this is H, which is 1.2 as per IRC 66. Similarly, this is the H, which is the height of observer, and this is the overtaking line of sight, and this is the length of curve. Okay, that means this is the length of curve which we have to find. So the formula in this case turns out to be L equals to 2s minus 8h upon n. So if we put the value of h as 1.2, then we get the final value for a final formula for L. Okay, so the above were the two cases for the overtaking side distance, and similarly now we will talk about the safe stopping side distance. So in this, only this s value will change. Okay, we will see case 1 where the length of curve exceeds the required side distance, that is L greater than S. So here also two cases are there, L is greater than S. So at last what the formula will come is n s square upon 4.4. Here the value of h and small h, there are two different values. In the overtaking side distance, we were having the value of h equals to 1.2 for the both vehicle driver as well as the object. But in case of the safe stopping side distance, we have different values. Okay, with the help of figure, we will try to understand this. In the last figure, what I have said that both values, this value was also 1.2 and this was the height of observer for overtaking especially. This value was 1.2, but since it is the stopping side distance, so this height of value the criteria for the stopping side distance is itself 0.15 will be the height of object. So here this height will be 0.15. So this is the sight line for the safe stopping distance. And what is the length of curve? So this will be our length of curve. So this value we have to find. And in this case, the formula for the length of curve will be this. And similarly, when L is less than S, okay, the formula terms have to be this. I hope these four cases, two for the overtaking side distance and two for the stopping side distance, both are very clear to you. If you have any kind of doubt, please write in comment. So let's move to the next. The length of summit curve for the various cases mentioned above can be read from plates 1, 2 and 3. So what they are saying that the length of summit curve can be directly read from the plate 1, 2 and 3. So in this plate, the value of ordinate M to the curve from the intersection point of the grade is also known. So what they have mentioned, we'll directly go to the plate 1, 2 and 3 and we'll try to understand all the things that they have mentioned. So now we are at the plate 1. So in this plate, a graph is shown. So on which the vertical axis talks about the length of curve, the horizontal axis talks about the deviation angle, and there are the two values that we have to actually find. One is the velocity. This velocity is also called as the design speed, which basically depends upon the class of road on which we are going to design. And since we have the two values, that the velocity and the deviation angle, which we'll get after the finalization of the gradient, that is the ascending or whether descending, then using these two values we'll be finding the value of L. What is L? L is definitely the length of curve. And another value we must find. So this is called as the ordinate to the summit curve from the intersection point of grade line. So here what is the value of M? So if suppose this is the first gradient line and this is the second gradient line. So what is M? M is this distance. So M is the ordinate. So this ordinate shows that we have to first know the velocity and the deviation, and with the help of these two values we'll calculate the L and M values. So I hope this plate 1 is very well clear to you. Now we will move to the plate 2. Before moving to plate 2, one thing I have forgot, that this plate 1 talks about the length of summit curve for the stopping side distance, that is for SSD. Okay, and in plate 2, the plate 2 talks about the length of summit curve for the intermediate side distance. Okay, here all the things are same, just the formula is different and rest of the things are same. That is, this denote the length of curve, x-axis denote the deviation angle, and with the help of the design speed as per the class of road, we are going to find the L value as well as the ordinate value. Okay, I hope this plate 2 is also clear to you, and rest of the things I have very well discussed in the plate 1 itself. Okay, now let's move to the plate 3. So this is plate 3, which talks about the length of curve for overtaking side distance. Okay, here you can see the length of curve, and here the deviation angle, that is N. Here also everything will be same, just the value of S while design will be here overtaking side distance. In plate 2 it will be intermediate, and in plate 1 it will be safe side distance. That is only the difference between all three plates. According to different types of side distances, we will be using different types of plate. Here also, with the help of V and N value, we are going to calculate L and M value. I hope all three plates are now very well clear to you. Now let's go back to the theory part. So in the next para they have said that in table number 6, for the quick comparison of the length of summit curve, all three types of side distances for the case, well, L is greater than S. So they have given so in the table 6 they have given for the comparison. So here this is the table number 6. So for L is greater than S. So here for the different design speed and for the different types of length of summit curve, that is for the stopping side distance, for intermediate side distance, as well as for overtaking side distance. So they have mentioned the length of summit curve, which is 0.9a, 1.4a. So what is this A? So they have mentioned in the note, A in the above table is the algebraic difference in the grades expressed as percentage. So whatever the value of n we have calculated, that is the deviation. So this value of n in percentage is nothing but the A value. Okay, at the last column you can say the length of valley curve for the headlight sight distance. So we'll see this part next. And in the second point they have mentioned that the length of curve should be subjected to the minimum values. So what is the minimum value of curve? So we'll see now. So in 5.8 they have talked about the minimum length of vertical curve. So here they have said that the value of L depends upon the n as well as s. Okay, we have seen in the formula as well, it depends on n and the s. So in some cases the length of curve needed for providing the required sight distance would be very small, and further in the flat grades no vertical curve may be necessary for the visibility, but for the comfort in driving and to avoid the shock it is necessary to introduce a vertical curve, except perhaps in very flat grades. So this 5.8 talks about the minimum length of curve. So even if our two grades are very flat and here there is no need for vertical curve, directly we can get the enough sight distance that we want, but still we need to provide a curve. For what? We need to provide curve for the comfort and to avoid the shock. So the minimum length of vertical curve should be given, that is mandatory for the every possible conditions except very flat grades. Okay, so that there is table 7 which talks about the minimum length of vertical curve. That means this much amount of length has to be there for the vertical curve. So we'll see this table 7. So this is table 7 which talks about the minimum length of vertical curve. So as per the design speed, so the maximum grade change not requiring a vertical curve. So what does this mean? For 35 km per hour speed, so even if the difference between the grade in terms of percentage is 1.5, there is no need of vertical curve. All the conditions for the safe stopping distance or the other kind of side distances will be satisfied even if we will not provide vertical curve. But just for the sake of comfort, so the minimum length of vertical curve should be given is 15 meters. Similarly, for the all other design speed, the minimum length of vertical curve can be seen in the last column. So let's move to the next point, which is 5.9, the calculating the ordinates of summit curve. So this is the important point with respect to the actual execution, or how actually we must construct the vertical curve, because here on page we can draw the cross section, but actually on the side we cannot see the actual alignment of the vertical curve in the vertical plane. Okay, so this point is very important as far as our execution part is considered. So for the plotting and laying out of the curve length is divided into number of equal chords and the ordinates to curve calculated at the end of this chord. So what this point says that if suppose this is a curve that we want to build and this is the gradient line, so we have to divide this gradient line in several equal intervals of chord and we have to drop the vertical ordinate so that we could know the amount of distance we must go below this point and we must finalize this point of the curve. So this is how we actually calculate and execute the vertical curve on the field. Okay, here they have given the formula for calculating the ordinate. As you can see, these are the ordinates. In simple language, अगर हम आसान भाषा में अगर बात करें तो हमारा जो करंट ग्राउंड पोजीशन होगी ये होगी. ओके, और हमें रोड बनाना है इस प्रकार. ओके, तो अभी हमें कैसे पता चलेगा कि कितनी हम कटिंग करेंगे सो डैट हम प्रॉपर रोड अलाइनमेंट में आ जाए. कई बार ऐसा होगा कि हम यहाँ से ड्रिल करेंगे यहाँ तक ही पहुंच गए, तो और कितना नीचे जाना चाहिए ये कैसे पता चलेगा. सो फॉर दैट पर्पज वी मस्ट कैलकुलेट द distance of ordinate. So with the help of this distance of ordinate, then we can know that to what depth we must cut so that we can be at the point on the vertical curve. So this is the formula for the ordinate. So the ordinate at certain location yr is given by y1 into the r square. So what is this y1? So this y1 is nothing but the our equation of parabola. Okay. So in the equation of parabola we have u square by a. What is u? U is basically the chosen length of chord. Then how we will calculate the length of chord? We will divide it into equal intervals and we will get the length of the chord. Okay. So this is the value of u, and a is the constant that whose value is 12 upon n, that we have already calculated in the above part. And what is r? R is the chord number. Okay. So we have to increase this r value by 1, 2, 3 and 4 till the last chord number. Okay. So by using this we'll calculate the ordinate, and with the help of ordinate then we can finalize to what depth we must go, so that by joining the all the points we will get a perfect parabolic curve. So this was all about the point 5.9. So in point 5.10 they have talked about the highest point on the summit curve. So here they have said what is the importance of knowing the highest point. It is important for the purpose of layout of drainage apparatuses and for asserting the vertical clearances in restricted locations as road under bridges. So what they want to say is we must know the RL of this highest point. For what purpose? The first they have said about the for layout of drainage. For the drainage layout design, we must know the RL of this value. And the second thing is that if suppose this is our road and there is a overbridge, whether it may be of rail or another road. So to know the vertical clearance, we must know the RL of this thing, so that we could check whether the vertical clearance is enough to pass all types of vehicles, or there should be restrictions of the vehicles with the more height. So for these purposes the highest point on the summit curve has to be known. When the two grades are equal, the curve would be symmetric and would be the vertical bisector of the intersecting angle. So obviously if this grade and this grade are similar, then our curve will be symmetric. And when the two grades are unequal, curve will be tilted and the highest point of the curve will lie on the side of flatter gradient. So if the curve, as we can see in the figure, this is the gradient 1 and this is the gradient 2. So since these both are unequal curve, our curve will be tilted towards the flatter gradient. So since this is the flatter gradient, our curve will be tilted to this side. I hope you have understood all the things. So that's all for this lecture. The remaining things from this IRC code will be covered in the next video. Till then, stay happy and stay safe.